Hi, and welcome to the beginning of this podcast journey. I'm so excited that you're joining me today. This whole journey, we want to kick off with looking at a project called A Musical Journey. The first podcast here will be about the heart behind it, the story behind it, how it all came about, and the actual journey it is in different ways, musically, geographically, personally as well. The next episodes will be talking to one or two of the team about their part they played, the contribution they played, and how, we will actually discover how the whole project came together with other people too, and collaboration enriched the whole project. And, it wouldn't be what it is now without everyone contributing and playing a part and all of that. So shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much. So there will be a whole short series of podcasts about the journey. If you have no clue what I'm talking about right now, I want to encourage you to check out my YouTube channel. Or also it will be on Spotify and the other platforms soon. A musical journey has really been a journey. We've traveled from Germany to Switzerland to England, and we've been composing in those places, we've been videoing, we've been recording in those places. More about that in a second, but just want to encourage you to check that out, and then you actually know what we're talking about here. So this whole podcast thing actually comes out of the development of that project. So if you know me a little bit already personally, maybe, then you will know that I can be quite ambitious. I can be very, right, I've got an idea, let's do this, let's have a go, let's see what happens, and then things develop. Sometimes I'm like, why does it take so long? I don't know if you can listen to this, but, I've got this idea, it should just appear in front of me. Why does it take so long? So I've been on a real personal journey with this project. What I thought would take 2-3 months or something, or a summer and a bit more, is now 2 years in the making, and we're still working on stuff. But to be honest, it's also always developed and grown and become richer and deeper and gone wider. So there's been a real spark in the beginning, but what I thought was the project then became more and more and more. And now we're here at the podcast series, and this talking about this project is only the start of it. There's some other things coming out of it soon. So the first thing I just briefly want to talk about is that spark that developed into the whole project. So I live in the UK now. I'm from Germany originally. I live in the UK now, and this whole thing started with me wanting to get my cello from Germany. Now it sounds very simple. It was very simple. I knew that I would go to Germany, pick up my cello, and bring it here. Now on the way, I was also planning to visit my sister in Switzerland. And then at that point, I realized I'm going to have that one cello in 3 countries. I could do 3 compositions in those countries, film them creatively, do some recordings. That idea of having that one cello in 3 countries, doing 3 compositions, that sparked it all, the whole thing. So I don't know if you have a spark for something, or you sometimes think, oh, what about this? What about this? But I had some sleepless nights, not because of anything negative, just because there was creativity there and it was buzzing, and I was just like starting to draw sketches and take notes, and just whatever was in my head and heart, just put it out somewhere. And it's developed into something quite exciting, I think. So I hope you enjoy this podcast about the story behind it. Whenever I've talked to someone and I said, oh, have you listened to the videos? Oh, it's great. Love the music, love the sound, love the scenery. And I said, oh, do you know the story behind it? And talking about it then made them think, wow, this is amazing. Like, other people need to hear this sort of stuff. So I hope this is going to enrich your experience of the whole journey. Now, it's really a journey on a geographical, musical, and personal level. And I'm trying to sort of shine a light on that a little bit. So let's walk through those 3 countries. So for me personally, the Germany video is about appreciating where I'm from, very simply. It's wanting to express appreciation for place and people, including my music teachers and a family and all those who, supported me, helped me get an instrument in my hand. First time I had it in my hand, cello was, I guess I was 4. Then piano, drums, percussion, it all sort of developed, and I had an interest in sound design along the way, and I started exploring electronic sounds, trying to put them together with the music I was doing, whether classically or, I was exploring jazz and blues and stuff on the piano. I was doing lots of stuff in orchestra, traveling with orchestras, and sort of just these sounds, this creativity around me, sort of just, developing within me as well. So just want to thank all those guys that have supported me along the way and have inspired me along the way. And that's really, for me, that's that first video. Now, that particular forest that we're filming in is literally where I grew up. It's behind our house, sort of thing, just a few minutes up the hill. That valley that you see, we as a family we'll have to walk there. The tower that you can see is called Brentum. It symbolizes the town, Furtwangen, where I'm from, and you can see the town a bit later. So it's all very home, that's like it's home. The piano that I'm playing in the beginning, that's in my room. That's the thing I've practiced on. It's all of that personal journey. And if you think of it musically, very simple: piano and cello, not much happening around it. Very simple, a little bit of percussion. The Switzerland video on a musical level already, we've journeyed a little bit if you want, and we're adding cellos. I don't know how, if you try to count how many you can hear, but it's 5 different lines. Now the melody is played once by the cello, but then you have every other harmony, if you want, or rhythmic pattern the other cellos are doing, is played 4 times for a richer sound. So I think we have around 21 cello recordings that you hear combined, and the percussion stuff is enriched and really extended. So if you want to check out the behind the scenes video on YouTube, I showed you guys how I recorded that. What's the percussion? A flower pot, a car bonnet, boxes in the shelf, a kayak, whatever I found in my dad's garage, really. And it sort of developed into that. And I know Rory, who did the music production, loved that sort of the details of that sound and all of that. And it was just, no, it wasn't messing around. There was real vision and focus in that. But it was also, using what you've got on your hands. You don't need to have fancy stuff all the time. Just hang out in your garage long enough and be a bit rhythmic about it. So, but on a personal level, Switzerland for me represents a turning point. Now, personally, what I really loved about the whole going to Switzerland was the contrast between the mountaintop, where you can see it's wide, it's quiet, it's open, it's like, there's, it's sort of this place of vision for me. And contrasting that with the city, we went to Geneva and just being there and people and, being immersed in sort of city and life there. And really the sense of the place of vision where you can see far, but then the place where people are. Personally, without going into too much at this point, but there was a point in my life where I'd given music up, and I sort of okay, I won't do that for now. I'm going to do something else. A couple of years later, it came back to me, and it was a real personal change and turning point in my life, actually, in different ways. But the way I had music back in my heart, back in my life, back in my hands was completely different. If you want to, know more, then just let me know. Maybe we can chat about it in a different way on chat or something, or I can do a podcast about it at some point. But there was a real change and a turning point in my life where after a couple of years, I picked up music, but it was different. There was a freshness, there was fresh vision, and all these things that I'm doing now are all coming out of that. So while Germany was the place where I'm from, sort of, I don't want to say the past, but like this is the heritage. This is like appreciating where I'm from. Switzerland then represents for me the turning point of there was a change. And for me, that was up on the mountain, the hill where I could see and stuff. And England then is, for me, the England video is looking forward. Now, that's obviously a personal thing. One thing I wanted to say then is I want to collaborate going forward. Like for me, going forward is about working together, pulling other people in the boat. This series has been a real journey for me in that, like, people from all the three different countries helped me do this stuff. So sort of communicating, working, it was all in English, so the language thing wasn't, English and German, language thing wasn't a problem, but just sort of the communicating, pulling things together. And so, Rory playing on that track, playing on that video was a real, I wanted to say something with that. Rory's not just there because he does well what he does, and he does that, but I wanted to say something about going forward. I want to collaborate. I want to work with others. And that's been a real shift for me. On a musical level, how have we journeyed here? So we're adding a new sound world. There's some electronic sounds in the England video. We've got pads, we've got synths. Rory composed with me, again, the collaboration thing. And we've added, again, more lines and stuff. But also there's a whole little series, or behind the scenes would be the series, but the whole video about it's an audiovisual performance I've done as sort of a remix from that video, which is a live performance I captured with a hybrid performance system. Now, in a different podcast, I'll go into that as a project at university that I did, sort of performing live with the cello, but while both my hands are occupied. How can I play other instruments live? Well, I was triggering stuff with my feet. I was looping things, recording things on the spot, using, singing into a mic that harmonized with the piano, all sorts of stuff. So I'm really developing this rich electronic language within all of that. So if you remember what I said in the beginning, coming from a classical background, then venturing a bit into, I love these electronic sounds. I love to play with them. I love orchestras, but also love this, and sort of loving percussion, but then loving electronic drum beats and stuff. This journey is sort of, in one sense, representing that personal journey that I've had. And the last video is sort of just like looking forward, like, okay, let's see what happens next sort of thing. But we're definitely merging those two sound worlds. So appreciating where I'm from, there was a turning point, and then I've been looking forward. Now, just a few like little things that a few of you will find very interesting if you've done something similar before. They are not really music videos. Now, with a music video, usually what you do, you compose the track or something. You then, or write the song or whatever, you go on in a space and you basically perform to the music just for the visual. So, you play a little speaker, you play that track and you sort of sing along, or you choreograph along. But it's not actually about recording your performance audio-wise, it's just visually. Now, what we've done here is different. Apart from bits in the England video, that's true. But generally, the idea of the series was to go to a place, whether it's a forest, a lake, a waterfall, a mountaintop, wherever, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to compose something. I'm going to write some music here. I'm going to be inspired by what? By the surroundings, by the atmosphere in one sense, by my personal relationship to the place, the people. So, sitting in that forest, I just walked up there with my cello and just played. And then I was like, oh, that's a nice motive. Oh, that's a nice bit. And then I just sort of developed that from there. And I did that in all different places. The England video then was a bit different because then it became a bit more of a music video because we prepared stuff and so on. But really the heart of it was to compose on site. And if you see me setting up my MacBook, that was literally, in Switzerland, for example, that was literally because I was recording on site. Now I had to re-record some stuff later because not all my cello stuff was in tune in the end from the different locations. But the idea was to compose on site. Now, long story short, that makes the video editing process very interesting, because if the music evolves during the filming process, so remember, I'm composing, I'm recording on site, so someone is filming me on site, that means I then need to come with one camera, by the way. We then need to do the musical composition, putting that whole thing together, the different motifs, the pieces, the melody here, the harmony here. That needs to then come together in the video editing process, because for every musical recording bit, for every musical idea, there is a little video thing. So some sections I was like, oh, I love this melody as a thing that keeps coming back. I need to record this in different ways visually, again and again and again. So later I have enough time, enough options visually to edit. Oh, I want this perspective, and a couple of nature shots. But basically, you see the camera. In one sense, it looks like it's continuously, filming the piece of music, but actually that piece musically was pieced together during the video editing process. I hope that makes sense. But that was a really interesting journey. So while I had loads of material then musically or visually, they also had to match. So in the video editing program, then I had to sort, right, this is always the beginning bit. This is around, let's say green. The middle bit, that where it builds, that's blue. Then yellow is that main bit. Brown is the end or whatever. So I couldn't just choose a nice landscape, me doing stuff. No, it had to be that particular piece of music, that particular form, that particular motif. So actually then composing the music during the video editing was very, very interesting. Brought some challenges, but also really some, oh, I haven't heard it that way. Oh, that makes sense. Let's extend that line. Let's do that. So very interesting relationships. Loads of stuff we learned on the way. Now, we had to chip, obviously, some stuff away. But really, this music and video developing hand in hand, I think that's been really interesting for me. Again, I said earlier, I love the teamwork aspect across 3 countries. And you will see that across the episodes. Also in the behind the scenes, and listen to this podcast, and really how it enriched the whole project. Everyone brought something unique, and we obviously tried to keep the focus within the bigger vision. But thank you, all of you guys who contributed or even just gave feedback and stuff. That's also really, really helpful. So in summary, how it all began was a spark of, I'm going to have that one cello in 3 countries, and I could do 3 compositions. And out of that, it developed. We were 2 years down the line, starting my journey. I'm starting my journey on Spotify and other places now, Apple Music. We're just starting this podcast. So it all came out of a spark. And I think the thing I want to leave you guys with is, what's your spark? What's in you that you maybe pushed away as, I don't know if that works, it seems too much work or whatever, I can't fit it in with other things. I had to develop this project alongside university. There only one bit I could use for uni. People say, can you use that for uni? I was like, no, it's not my assignment. But it was a passion in me. It was a spark in me. And I just want to pose that question to you. What is your spark? How can you develop that? How can you put something into practice? And if you want to learn one thing from me, then from my journey in this, then please don't get frustrated if it doesn't happen straight away. Allow it to develop, allow it to grow. Just don't give up on it. I hope you enjoyed this first podcast. If you want to listen to the videos or the songs, check out YouTube, check out the Apple Music, Spotify, all these platforms. I hope you continue to follow this podcast. And now the next few ones are conversations with other people from the team, insights from them, some personal bits as well, and really wanting to inspire you to be creative. When you've discovered your spark, let me help you and journey with you to see that express and develop. Enjoy. See you next time.